Hey everyone, I'm Dan from JazzComposersPresent.com, an online space where composers, musicians, and listeners come together to celebrate the music we love. I'm joined today by Mirna Bogdanović, vocalist, composer, band leader, and two-time winner of the Deutsche Jazzpreis. Mirna is here to show us how to incorporate both simple and complex elements into our compositions.
Hi, Dan. Thank you so much for the invite. Yeah, as you already mentioned, I'm going to be talking about integrating complexity into simplicity. And what I do is vocal jazz pop. So how I got to that was I studied jazz and classical music, but I was always drawn to other genres like pop, soul, R&B, electronic music, indie music. And so as a result, I developed a composing style that is cross-genre, and it combines simple and complex. So this also came to me because I studied high information music for such a long time. So when I started going more towards pop and other genres, I was still craving some sort of richness in whichever element that was possible. So because this all came pretty naturally to me, I've been kind of trying to analyze my own music to understand what exactly I'm doing. So it goes something like this. I usually write simple, catchy, melodic ideas, and I combine them with at least one complex element. So either that's the meter or different structures, patterns in more often on the piano, but also other instruments, or rich harmony, grooves, sometimes also complicated melodies, which is all within kind of like a pop singer-songwriter aesthetic, but using a jazz storytelling, if that makes any sense. I use a lot of repetition and hooks throughout my songs, either in harmony or melody. I often use like a melody from one part, and let's say from part A, and put it over part B that has a completely different harmony. Maybe I have to adjust the harmony a bit, or I change the meter under a specific kind of element. So I'm basically recycling a lot of my ideas throughout my songs. Also, because I'm really into instrumental music as well as vocal music, I'm trying to combine those two worlds as well by sometimes singing lines without text. So I'm using my voice as an instrument, which brings another character to my music that is maybe unexpected. So now I'm gonna show you a clip, and it's from a song called Only Child, which I released on my second album, which is called Awake. So this whole song sounds a little bit like an endless minor scale with a few detours. The intro is in the bass and the piano, and it's like a descending motion, to which I then start singing the hook of the whole song, which is quite of a long, like 8-note, also like a scale-like melody, which sounds super simple at first, literally as like a scale, but then ends up at different places and different like jumps you wouldn't expect at first, but it still kind of sounds super simple. And so once we get to the first verse where I start singing the text, there's a accompaniment under my melody, which is like a parallel movement in the bass, piano, and guitar. And I'm quoting the melody from the intro, which was played before in the piano and bass. After that verse, we go into the hook again, and the accompaniment, which was like this parallel movement, now expands from 3 bars into 6 bars. And it's kind of going different directions than my melody. So I'm creating a sort of counterpoint between those 2 elements. Another thing I'm doing here is the accompaniment is playing all of the notes on offbeats while I'm singing only 8 notes. So I'm indicating the downbeats together with the drums. The drummer is playing like a steady groove, but kind of, holding everything together so it doesn't fall apart. Because if everyone would just play offbeats, it would be a little bit hard to keep the time. To conclude this whole topic, my approach is really about balance. So I'm interested in how complexity and simplicity can coexist instead of compete against one another. Like how one element can invite the listener in, while another like keeps the music alive and surprising. So I'm always looking for that point where like accessibility can meet some sort of depth. You could say that my music is kind of a trap. I'm luring people in by thinking, okay, this is like something familiar. This is a pop song, but then it actually becomes a jazz song. And I really like that because I feel like a lot of people don't listen to jazz anymore. And if that's a way how I can invite them into that world, that's good for me.
Thanks for watching today's mini lesson. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Drop any questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos down below. To watch our full-length events and participate in live Q&As with our presenting artists, head to jazzcomposerspresent.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.